Alex Palou looks to continue his season for the ages.
Unreal.
While the pack fight for the checkered flag on the streets of Toronto. Sunday at noon Eastern on Fox. Welcome to the fastest racing on Earth.
The official IndyCar app, powered by NTT Data, puts the pulse-pounding action of IndyCar right at your fingertips. Never miss a lap with the latest news, highlights, and live race coverage. Track every move with real-time leaderboards, interactive maps, onboard cameras, and driver radio. Your all-access pass to every race, every moment, every day. Download the official IndyCar app now.
It's the final street circuit of the 2025 season, and it is one of the most challenging that we visit on the calendar. Welcome to qualifying here on the streets of Toronto. Weather couldn't be better. Absolutely glorious out there. 74 degrees, a little bit cloudy. Track temperature at 109. How will that affect the running on a soft tyre, which traditionally hasn't shown itself to be great so far this weekend, but we will see as this track has consistently rubbered in over the weekend. The rules the same as pretty much always. Two groups will go out, sorted by the final practice times. 10 minutes on track per group. The fastest 6 from each progress to the 12. The 12 is reduced to 6, and then the fight for pole. And in this group is Kyle Kirkwood, Scott McLaughlin, Scott Dixon, Will Power, Felix Rosenquist, Christian Lundgaard, Graham Rahal, Callum Ilott, Louis Foster, Nolan Siegel, Santino Ferrucci, Connor Daly, and Sting Ray Robb. 7.
Big deal right here for this guy, Nolan Siegel, driver of the NTT Data car. Big right front lockup. That's the last thing you want. It's a big deal for him because he had to sit out the last race in Iowa after a big crash in race 1 at Iowa, entered IndyCar's concussion protocol, and now he's got to make a painful 3-point turn and hope that that right front tire will still yield performance without a flat spot, and he's just struggling to get it going again. And James, this will cause at least a local yellow.
Exactly right, T-Bell. So down in turn 3, local yellow. 3 different cars went by, the 12, the 9, and the 15. So all 3 of those will have to have let off the gas and slowed down. That's going to cause a loss of lap time here for Nolan Siegel as we just see the replays as it's recovering from that bump down there in the brake zone. The right front locks and he just can't get it undone.
Down there into turn 3 again. If you're joining us for the first time this weekend, you'll see the bump that Siegel goes over right there. And that bump has been causing a lot of people to lock up going down into turn 3. There was some new asphalt laid down there before the weekend began. That was causing a bump during first practice, so some more was put down overnight to try to even the slight drop down into turn 3. But the bump, the difference in the track surface does still exist and has been causing a number of issues throughout this weekend under braking for turn 3, the biggest braking zone of the entire circuit. So Rosenquist improving, Kirkwood improving, so too Power and McLaughlin as the Penske drivers move from the hard to the soft.
Yeah, interesting that Kirkwood came out of the pits and he was pushing immediately. This was not one of those situations like we've seen at especially some of the road courses where there was these prep laps. These drivers are out of the pits and on the gas.
Tricky set of corners coming up here. Let's just ride and listen.
He's green. It'll be a change of time, an improvement in time. What will it do to his position? Straight to the top for Kirkwood, and we are under a minute. 59.9. We're faster than last year already.
This will be interesting. How does Scotty Mack go?
P3.
Wow, full 4/10, almost 5/10 slower than Kyle Kirkwood. How about Will Power? Just a tick quicker, still not as fast as the Andretti driver.
McLaughlin going faster once again. Power there or thereabouts on the cusp. Less than a minute remains.
Wow.
Ilott jumps up to second in the Prema.
What a weekend he's having.
Daly now up to 6. Dixon improving. Rahal, Foster, Siegel improving. That's the time to the cutoff in 6th as Power jumps up to 3rd. And we sit on board with Graham Rahal. Dixon now to 4th. And Rahal into the top 6. 20 seconds on the clock.
Pushing McLaughlin out in the act of doing that. Rosenquist going quicker. Lundgaard across the line. does not improve his time. He's still sitting 11th and outside. He'll get one lap left as Foster now jumps in.
Wow, both McLarens knocked out as two Rahal Letterman Lanigans in a transfer spot.
Siegel, there or thereabouts. Can he make it over the line? He was green. He's just dropped down, and now he's under. Lundgaard, though, look at that time. It's hundredths of a second. Now it's a tenth of a second for the driver of the number 7. He's on turn 2, my apologies, running down to turn 3 on board with Siegel. Power jumps up to second, but that time of Callum Ilott, absolutely incredible. This could be a red letter day for Prema in terms of their first season in the NTT INDYCAR Series. What has Siegel got, and is it enough? He's a tenth, almost 2 tenths down. It won't be enough, and Lundgaard has dropped time as well.
Oh, he went for it there at the apex, just crashing the curbs, trying to find it, but I'm afraid that multiple laps on the soft tire is just not yielding. It's starting to lose grip, and the time is fading.
Improves his time, improves his position, but it won't be enough for the top 12. And a track which proved to be an Achilles heel for McLaren in 2024 appears to be so once again in 2025. Kirkwood, Power and Dixon make it through. So too Rahal and Foster. Brilliant for them, but what about Ilott? So these are the drivers who advance from the first part of qualifying. Incredibly, Callum Ilott 16th in second practice, Rahal was 14th, Foster was 18th. Big jumps from all of them. The big losers though, McLaughlin out, and he was 4th in practice. Rosenquist out, he was 10th in practice. Lundgaard out, he was 12th in practice. 3 big names to fall at the first hurdle. But chapeau, hats off to Callum Ilott, Graham Rahal and Louis Foster. So who's confident, who isn't? Well, the confident guys are the ones on the hard tyre. That's Colton Herta, Josef Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, Alex Palou, David Malukas and Marcus Armstrong. Malukas straight to the top on a 103 on the hard tyre. Newgarden deposes him immediately, and that's great to see. 28 has made it. Marcus Ericsson out on track after the brake issues that he suffered before the session even began. We talk about Malukas being confident, and well, he might be. Last time we were on the street circuit, streets of Detroit, qualified a magnificent second. There is the driver of the 21, Christian Rasmussen. We're taking a little look, and a front right lockup coming down to turn 8. And is he in the wall? Oh, the slightest of brushes on the exit of the final corner.
Touched it, but I think you get away with it there. Doesn't seem to be quite a hard enough of an impact to cause damage, not like what we saw this morning from Jacob Abel on the last lap of practice. That was a proper hit and led to a proper spin.
Alex Palou indeed up to speed to the tune of half a second. Josef Newgarden P1 and going quicker, but Palou's time right now good enough. It should be, not just to move himself up into the top 6, but potentially to take away that P1 from Josef Newgarden. The championship leader has looked so committed around this circuit this weekend, hanging it out, getting ever so close to the walls, four-wheel drifting, you name it. He hasn't looked on rails, but he has looked fast just by hustling this thing corner by corner, lap after lap. He's up almost 7/10 of a second. He'll come across the line, and Alex Palou will of course go top. 1 minute flat point 271.
Still a good chunk off the 59.9 that we saw out of Kirkwood in that first group. Interesting to see if on this second lap they can find any more lap time out of it. You can see he's just sort of flirting with the green there as Herta jumps up to the top. Only 1/100th faster.
I think Herta should park it right there. I don't think it'll take that much more to transfer. He only needs to be in the top 6 here. As Rossi fighting to come across the line. He's right at the cut line to his teammate.
With 30 seconds remaining, Pato O'Ward has got across the line and will start another lap. We saw him just backing out on that lap before. As to the top goes Marcus Armstrong in the Meyer Shank. Maybe Herta will want another run of it as Schwartzman does what his teammate did and jumps up into the top 6 with now around 15 seconds left.
That's impressive from Schwartzman, a driver that's never been to the streets of Toronto. Just like you mentioned, Will, Callum Ilott and Prema Racing looking strong, along with Mr. Strong, Mr. Clean, Palou to the top.
Little Dave up to 4th, Malukas, and now Simpson Brilliant job from him. Checkered flag is out. Lap times will count. Armstrong is improving. Simpson is up into the top 6. Herter improves to second. Look at the times of VK and Ericsson. And VK goes to the top. Rinus VK with an incredible lap to progress to the top 12. No one will be able to depose him now out of the top 12. But Armstrong is improving. O'Ward goes up to 5th. But can anyone drop him out? There's only a few drivers left. The first is Armstrong, who goes back to the top. What's Rasmussen got? What has Schwartzman got? Is it enough? I'm not sure it will be. Schwartzman will not improve, and so the times are set, and the 12 that advance will be joined by Armstrong, VK, Palou, Ericsson, Herter and O'Ward. Simpson's on a lap, but I think he's pulled... He's off, yeah, way off. So Simpson unlucky not to make it through in the end, but McLaren's blush is spared as O'Ward progresses in 6th. Herter and Ericsson make it a happy day for Andretti. They're both through as well, but what about Armstrong and VK? Sensational. O'Ward, a couple of surprises in there. Armstrong was only 13th in practice. VK was 11th. Ericsson down in 15th. Incredibly, Newgarden, who was 3rd, and Malukas, who was 9th in practice. Neither of them go any further.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah, we talk all the time about the Finnish drivers or the Swedish drivers having great car control because you grow up in the snow and you're in slippery conditions. Same thing holds true here in Canada. It's a long winter. It's a slick winter on the roads. Is there much to that? I mean, how much time did you spend in, you know, the local sports fields of your high school or whatever, sliding around in the snow?
Yeah, that's what I think the key difference is. When you talk about, you know, the Finns and the Norwegians, the Danes, they've got snowy roads, small 2-lane rally-style roads that they practice on. In Canada, we just go to big parking lots and do a bunch of donuts.
But you did it.
Oh, I did it a ton.
In what?
A lot of different vehicles, SUVs. Mini Cooper was a good one.
Okay, nice.
Done it in all sorts. You know, the front-wheel drive cars are fun because you can lock the e-brake and really learn some car control. In the summer, if you want to do that, you just put the trays from fast food places under the rear tires, lock the e-brake, and away you go.
What was your biggest non-racing incident in a vehicle?
I clipped a curb in a Mini Cooper. I also hit a deer in a Honda Pilot, and I got to say, that thing saved my life. So I'm a big fan of those cars.
Wow. Just a reminder that is the revised alt start finish timing line for qualifying this weekend. It was about 300 feet further down the road, right at the apex there of turn 8. So they've moved it back.
And we look at
I've hit a deer. You ever hit a deer, Will?
No, I've avoided deers.
It's terrifying.
I've hit a fox. It's about as big an animal as I've ever mown down in a car.
Okay.
To say.
It's not there's nothing to be proud of.
No,
based on size of animal impacted.
I'm happy to say I've never hit a moose, which some of my countrymen have, and that's usually
far better to hit a fox than a moose.
Yeah, that's a losing proposition for the car 10 times out of 10.
They're aggressive too. Wouldn't want one of those things coming through the windshield. Warn you if a quicker car is coming from behind as Rinus VK starts things off with some trouble.
Big lock up down into 8.
Now luckily that's a used set of the softs from Q1, so he'll still have a fresh set to use here to try to get himself into the Firestone Fast 6. What a story that would be, guys.
Absolutely huge. It was a Ganassi 1-2. It's now Palou from O'Ward. The times...
Flat spot. That's what Rinus VK saying over the radio. No surprise there. I mean, those soft tires.
Get out of the way, though. Don't get yourself a penalty, Rinus VK. You had Callum Ilott right behind, and then a hard-charging Kyle Kirkwood. Now, as long as those drivers advance later, there would not be a penalty. But here comes Kirkwood, and he's definitely being held up.
Kirkwood 1.2, 1.1 to the good. Lost a good couple of tenths behind Rinus there. May find himself in a bit of trouble. Does go to the top.
Yeah, copy that.
And Kyle really has to have that tight turn in as he has the first pit box. And that is Palou leaving just ahead of Pato O'Ward.
Might be subject to an unsafe release here, and I can see.
Oh, yeah, Pato
had to see why.
Back right out of that.
Yeah, he had to get right on the clutch. I mean, that was pretty late send from the 10 crew.
So what would be the option? IndyCar could make Palou drive through for that, which is not the end of the world, but boy, you're doing a full lap on the soft tires.
It throws off your entire cadence, gives you only one flyer on the softs.
Do they have enough fuel for it?
Kevin, what can you tell us, mate?
Well, one thing I'm just kind of looking at is normally if you have pit out, you want to just release as late as you can. But here, you only literally have about a second before you see that award car coming around the corner. It's almost like you need an extra spotter on pit lane calling things for you.
And I'm hearing Scott Dixon, and yes, he has gone off. Lock up on the front right. A little bit of a flat spot there for Dixon. He's back on his way and just rounding through the final corner to... He's 3 corners into his lap on the run down to turn 1.
But guys, that's important. We were unable to see if any cars went through that zone while he was down that runoff. That meant that the lap for that competitor will have been disqualified. And if that's the case, then Scott will lose his fastest lap up to this point as well.
Let's not forget, Scott Dixon also has a 6th place penalty in his pocket coming into this weekend for an engine change as Palou goes to the top and is really having to fight that car.
And he's got just a breath of fresh air between him and Kyle Kirkwood. Palou looks so good through turn 8, though.
Ilott on a charge coming up to the back of Scott Dixon, who is not improving. Will he be done for impeding Callum Ilott, who has now dropped all of that time as well? Ericsson is improving, Rahal is improving, VK is improving.
And it looks like Kyle Kirkwood is improving, of course, but also gapping Alex Palou. So Kirkwood on a sizzler right now. Palou so deep on the brakes right there.
4 of the top 6 improving. Keep your eyes on Dixon, keep your eyes on Armstrong and VK.
2 of the bottom 6 improving as well.
Palou just absolutely nailing the brake zones.
VK to P3. Kirkwood takes it under a minute, just as he did in the first part of qualifying. That's your new target time. Will Power with the time to beat, though, to make it through into the fast 6. The checkered flag will be out in just a moment. Power crosses the line to go second and take it under a minute. Look at the time of Rahal, though. The best of those at the bottom, except for that of Marcus Armstrong. Here he comes, 6/10 seemingly to the good. Armstrong over the line, takes it up to P4.
Still lots of green to go. Colton Herta goes to P3. Foster and Rahal right on the bubble to bump Rinus VK.
Ilott goes up 1 place. Ericsson seems to be down and out in P12. Foster has just dropped under. Now he's got back up across the wall. Louis Foster over the line. Is it enough to get into the top 6? It is. Now what has his teammate Graham Rahal got? We sit on board with him.
He's got more.
Way more. Rahal up to P4. And that puts his teammate Louis Foster out and down to 7th. So it's Kirkwood and Power, Herta and Rahal, Palou and Armstrong, your 6 advancing. Wow. What Scott Dixon out. His search for a pole position continues. Last time he started from P1, the Indy 500 in 2022. Seems like a wild stat, that, right?
Yeah, I think it just went wrong with that locked up tire running long in turn 8 to start things. That got him totally out of cadence, and he'll be frustrated with that. And you can tell he knows he's got a fast race car. And Callum Ilott probably talking about traffic.
Yeah.
That's Ryan Briscoe on the pit wall, and Ilott furious.
Yeah, I think he's got a right to be honest, because there were a couple of moments that that seemed to affect him in that session.
Oh, Scott Dixon. Bam!
That's a good hit.
That would explain it.
Good hit.
Yeah, solid whack of the wall for Scott Dixon. Here are your 6 drivers who advance to the Firestone Fast 6. Kyle Kirkwood and Will Power, the only drivers in qualifying today to have dropped under 1 minute. Colton Herta, who was on pole last year. Rahal, Palou, and Armstrong. Right, session has begun. It's time for the most famous words in racing.
Firestone Fast 6.
There you go.
Well said.
Thanks. 4 of these drivers have, of course, been on pole position this year. Kyle Kirkwood at Long Beach, Will Power, Gateway. Colton Herta was on the pole in Detroit, and Alex Palou Well, he's been on pole a few times this season. Iowa, the last time on pole at the last race. For Graham Rahal, it's been 2 long years since his last pole position. For Marcus Armstrong, it's been 6. Formula 3, Austria, the last time he won pole. Formula 3 at Spa-Francorchamps, the last time he started from pole, but that was a reverse grid race. Who's got the pace today? Will it be either one of those Andretti drivers who have ruled the roost, not just this weekend, but last year as well here? Can it be the Penske of power? Will it be the mighty Palou, or either of the unexpected 6, Rahal or Armstrong? Kevin, we ride on board with Will Power.
Greatest qualifier in the history of IndyCar, but it might surprise some people to learn that it's been almost 3 years since Will Power has won a pole that was not on an oval, and that was the record-breaking pole at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca at the end of the season in 2022 that helped him win the championship and also surpass Mario Andretti. Power had no idea what kind of car he was going to have on the softs. He thought the hard compound was better yesterday, but it's obviously coming to him on the softs today.
His last pole here back in 2015 for Will Power, but he has been on the pace from the off. But has he got anything to match the potent potential of those Andrettis?
Man, he was awfully close in round 2. You know, Will Power doing that 59.9 as well. So, I mean, he's got a great shot here. It's going to be awfully close. Who are you guys picking?
Oh, man, it's tight between Kirkwood and Herta.
Pick one.
Herta, 3rd pole.
James?
I'll go Kirkwood just because he's been quicker so far in qualifying.
I'm going to stick my neck out a bit and go Will Power.
All right.
There's something about the improvement that he's shown. This guy, the best qualifier in the history of the sport. Can he find the magic? You only need 1 lap as those fresh Firestones go on and provide all of that fresh grip for just a short period of time.
And this session goes by in an absolute flash. Just 4 minutes now, just over 4 minutes remain on the clock. Just enough time to get out there, put some heat into those tires and go for that one all-important run. There is Colton Herta.
And interesting to see the different philosophies here from the 2 Andretti cars. Herta out there early on, I think, probably his U set right now, and then we'll switch over to his sticker set. Kirkwood content to sit in pit lane, not do a quote-unquote banker lap on a used set. Let the brakes heat up those soft tires. As you see now, the fans come off, the car goes out. Or maybe Colton just went a lap early.
I don't know, this looks like way too much understeer for...
He could just come in
tires.
for a hot stop, you know, get a fresh set and go back out, but that just helps get some heat in the brakes and everything up and running as he crosses the line, goes P1. Does he duck into the pits? He does, yeah.
I mean, the white gloves have got to be worth a few hundreds, right?
I believe red gloves rule in Canada.
Completely agree with that.
It's like white cleats.
No.
The NFL.
Red gloves rule, baby.
Early 80s, got the white cleats on.
We're not running, we're racing.
Oh, we're running, we're sprinting.
Good lap, though, from Colton Herta, regardless of the fact it was on the older tire. Pulled back to Alex Palou, 2/10 down on the man who had pole position here last year and the pole position here 3 years ago in 2022. Colton Herta looking for his 3rd pole around the streets of Toronto, a circuit he knows and loves well. Alex Palou, believe it or not, has never started higher than 18th on this circuit. Two and a half minutes left. And what about this guy? What about Marcus Armstrong? Can he throw a spanner in the works and pull off a massive shot and a huge surprise? He has had a run of brilliant results. 6 top 10s in a row.
Looked a little bit narrow there on the entrance to turn 8. Not sure that's going to be enough. I think you're going to want to use a little more racetrack left to right. Gets a little wide now through these S's that lead to the front straightaway. Hanging it out there, though.
But it's lost him time.
This one and one more.
See, it's a great, strategy from the team. Give him kind of those 2 push laps, this one and one more. You could go there, you can go 99% on that first lap. Make sure you get a time on the board, and then really just try to find that last little bit of everything in every corner, every brake zone, every throttle application, providing those softs can hang on for another punishing qualifying lap.
And you know what? They've got him out on the perfect place as well. He's got about a quarter of a lap ahead of him with no cars. His absolutely clear track. He's bolted for 2, and he's going to have to wait for that second, because this one is not going to be enough for Marcus Armstrong. It's now or never for him. He jumps up to second, but not enough.
What's going on with Will Power and Palou? These guys 1.8 seconds off right now on these laps, as Colton Herta going to have one chance to really fire off here. I don't think this is a quick one.
I'll tell you what, Armstrong, it's nip and tuck with the time that Herta has already set, but let's not forget Herta's lap was on the older rubber. Herta now pushing on the new rubber, and 3/10 to the good over his own fastest time so far.
59.9 was the mark that Colton Herta laid down in Group 2, excuse me, Round 2.
Kirkwood did the 59.9.
So Armstrong, it's hundredths of a second for Armstrong, and now he's up on Herta's time. Rounding through 6 and into 7. Armstrong should, if he gets this right, go to the top of the pile. But if he does, it won't be for long. We have a new leader of the session. It is Marcus Armstrong on a 1 minute 0.353. Herta, though, is half a second to the good over Marcus Armstrong. Absolutely on it. Palou 3/10 to the good over Armstrong. But for Herta, across the line, will it be 3 poles here in Toronto? It's a massive lap from Colton Herta, and I don't know if anyone has the pace to compete with that. Palou does his best, but it will not be enough. What about Will Power? 6/10 down. And where, oh where, is Kyle Kirkwood? I'll tell you, he's coming over the line now.
Nothing.
We're
waiting for the time to pop, but
didn't have a time for him.
Don't know what happened there to Kyle Kirkwood or the car of Will Power. 6/10 off Colton Herta.
Well, a massive shock for Kyle Kirkwood to be down there in 6th place. We'll wait to see what actually happened to him. But what a run from Colton Herta. It's his 3rd pole position here in Toronto. And there is where it all went wrong for Kirkwood.
That's essentially at the start of the lap. That's the first real corner.
And he's going to be kicking himself for that. Yeah, over the old start-finish line into 8. Oh, man, takes too much curve, gets all crossed up. Wheel out of his hands. So he was, wait, no, that was his.
That was his
That was the end. That was the end.
So
of his
something
lap.
must have happened somewhere else. But for this guy, pulling it all together at the right time.
What a job. What a job from Colton Herta. Back-to-back poles here. His first pole of the season since Detroit, the last time we were on a street track. And it's 3 poles here in Toronto. 2022, 2024. 2025. Does he ever love this place? Here is your starting lineup in Hinchtown. Colton Herta starts in the front row from Alex Palou. Armstrong and Will Power on row 2. Graham Rahal, Kyle Kirkwood start on row 3.
You know, I like this grid for Colton Herta because I don't see a lot of desperation from these 6 drivers. Everybody's pretty happy to qualify well. They're experienced. I don't see big, hard-charging, crazy moves at the start, but I see a lot of contenders on strategy and pace there over the distance of the race. It should be good for that reason.
At the same time, I see a lot of drivers on this page that are going to want that strong result. Louis Foster, another strong performance. Ericsson wants to get up there with his teammates. Pato O'Ward, again, not the best track for them, wants to try to make that better here this weekend.
Row 9, Dixon and Newgarden. 8 championships between them, wanting more out of this season. Dixon, of course, with that 6th place grid penalty.
Yeah, looking all the way back here, rows 10 through 12. Christian Rasmussen, somebody that we talk about every single race weekend for big, bold moves. How brave does he get at the start of this thing?
Time will tell. Santino Ferrucci and Rossi in the row behind him, and then bringing up the tail end of the field, Stingray Robb, whose team's still recovering from that trailer fire coming over here from Iowa. Hometown hero Devlin DiFrancesco, and then Jacob Abel bringing up the rear.
Join us tomorrow for the race itself, coming your way at 12 Eastern on Fox. And of course, the warm-up at 8:30 Eastern. Coming up next, though, on FS1, the basketball tournament. Full Harder versus Assembly Ball. That's it, though, from us in Toronto. We'll see you tomorrow for race day. Can Colton Herta take the win from the pole for a second year in a row?
This is Alex Palou, a conquistador of concrete from the start. Alex is so fast he does his taxes January 1st. He speed reads 2 novels before noon. He's Spanish, but he'll French kiss on the first date. Alex has traveled the world. Here are his favorite places: Portland, Detroit, Monterey, Portland again, and rent-free in 32 drivers' heads. This is the front of his car, but if you race him, you'll just see the back. This is 3-time IndyCar champ Alex Palou. Welcome to the fastest racing on Earth.